Good morning again. I had given you a briefing of the old regime, new regime of taxation, how we have to break the shackles, how we have to break the coconut, etc. I gave you idioms and all that. Now let us look at what will be the contribution if you invest in infrastructure. How did the USA overcome its difficulties? It was a broke country in 1929. The share market had fallen. The economy was in doldrums, and people in the stock market were diving out of their windows and from the 29th floor and dying. They were committing suicide in hordes. How did they revive? They revived only through infrastructure. Yes, they had railways. That was the only thing available. But the infrastructure concept which was developed by the federal government pushed the economy of the US from 0 to 9. I won't say 10 because now they are 10. From 0 to 9. I'm not even giving it 0 to 7 or 0 to. They gave one fillip to the economy. And that pushed through ideas. Great ideas came through. For example, because the infrastructure was developed, huge roads were developed, linking 3,000 miles from one end to the other, and 3,000 miles from east to west and north to south and northeast to southeast, and each village being linked, each town being linked, each district being linked, each state being intertwined. You can imagine the amount of money which the government gave for the development of the infrastructure. They were not earning. There was no income tax. They were having something, but the resources are limited. They said, okay, we will give you food, you work for us. So the people worked, they were given food and lodging, and their families were taken care of by the government, and roads were installed. Now, when the roads developed, when the states started getting linked, the movement from one state to another by groups of families and industries and investors and other things started moving very fast. They moved from New York to California, from California to Florida, Florida to Seattle, Seattle to Kansas, Kansas to Colorado. How did that happen? It was because of that huge road infrastructure which the US had developed. Now, consequently, because of this movement, the thought process of the people also changed. Conceptually, they started changing because each state had a different climate, a different soil, a different structure. Everything was different. Colorado is cold, Florida is warm. So how do you interact with each other? How do you keep, from a person moving from Colorado to Florida and Florida to Colorado? Imagine the contrast. But they were able to fit it in. How? That is what we have to look at. Because of that, new ideas started moving in. Ford started manufacturing newer type of cars. Goodyear developed the vulcanizing of the tires. When Goodyear developed the vulcanizing of the tires, imagine what has grown out of it. Today you're having 1 billion tires being, used only in the US. Imagine the billions of tires used all over the world. Because the tires were being able to be used again and again because of the vulcanizing concept of Goodyear. If Ford had not developed the car, and if the infrastructure was not available for Ford to use his cars, where would have these billions of investments being made for road tires happen? Nothing. It would have been zero, zilch. But because of that wonderful thought of linking roads made by the federal government, by the US, they were able to build a beautiful country. They were able to expand very fast. It was also a laid back, rich, slave-driven economy, and slowly it had come over the slave. But even then, the blacks were segregated. I think only in 1964, integration of the blacks and the whites took place. But in spite of that, they were able to grow. Investments in industry started growing. New items were being produced. Where did we had the development of the concept of the washing machine came from? It was because people are moving here and far and wide, and people had to work in order to, to keep the investment going. Everything, the infrastructure development, everything. Government was taking taxes. The two people were working, and they had no time to serve on themselves. So what did they do? They invented the washing machine. When they invented the washing machine, now somebody had to put the clothes on the clothesline and then come back and pick it up and fold it and do it. Then what happened? They found that sometimes the rains came off and on. During the winter season in Colorado, it is minus 26 degrees with snow and ice all over. You can't hang a clothesline outside. It'd be dumb and stupid. So what you invented? You invented a dryer. Now, the old dryer was a cold dryer. Then they said they went and invented a hot and cold dryer. Then they invented the using of the hot water for washing the clothes. So many things came into being. Now, in India, we had the washerman, and we were happy and laid back, enjoying ourselves with the, bringing the concept of other, religious aspects. We forget about that. I don't want to go into that. We had the laid back affair with the Rajas, with the rich, zamindars, everybody enjoying life. We were not interested in getting those washing machines. So we were laid back, but anyway, we couldn't afford them. I'll talk about it later. Now, what happened? They invented the washing machine, then they invented the hot water using washing machine, then they used the hot and cold, dryer. They brought out new concepts. Now, a simple thing, people found that there were not enough people to sew their clothes or to stitch their clothes. It was becoming more expensive. So Singer set up its own factory and they started manufacturing sewing machines. How did this all happen? It happened because of the single starting point of the infrastructure. So, when we look at India today, India is developing going in the same way of developing infrastructure. Infrastructure plays such a beautiful part. We have never thought about it because we were enshackled by our thinking of the past, controlled mind. What do you call the British left us with a mind which was controlled. It was not free. And that you had to free. We had we were not thinking in our way which we normally had to think. We were a colonized mind. Unless the colonized mind broke its shackles from the colonized thinking, we can't achieve greatness. India has got great opportunities, a great future. It depends on how you take things forward. So, when I come back to US, it developed its infrastructure. When it developed its infrastructure, it found it had to lay roads. And as the depression, people came out of depression, they had so much money, they were not willing to go for that free labor. So, what the government had to do, they had to invest in equipment. So, you started having road equipment, road laying equipment. And when the road laying equipment came into existence, we found there were people who are wanting technicalities to run that road paving, equipment. And what do you require for that? Training and structure. So they invested in ITIs, that is technical institutes where people could go learn that particular activity and service, and they went ahead with it. Road laying was one, road paving was one, road laying of the tar was another aspect, paving the pathways was a different, Marking the area was different. Every area started specializing, every area started developing, area started growing. So just you can imagine how US blossomed. It blossomed only because of the reason of one thing, development of infrastructure. That is where we lacked. Because we always kept on the thinking that we don't have the money, we don't have the money, we don't have the capability to raise the money, we don't have the capability to deliver, we don't have the, we had been so colonized in our thinking that we were never being able to think and state, oh God, I will be able to do it. And today, in the past, I would say 20 years, or in the past, I would say 15 years, not even 20, 15 years, slowly the thinking has come. Yes, we are capable of delivering. We are capable of doing greater things. And that is why I'm asking you, invest in the government. Invest in what the government is looking at your future, and that will give the India the benefit and the future for you, a greater future for all of us. Thank you.